believe that was our... Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to the Morning View. It's Monday. It's the beginning of your week. It's the time to be positive and ready to attack the week away from Man United, because if you let Man United into that, you're probably not going to have a good week. So shout out to everybody at the beginning of the week, ready to get it, ready to achieve their goals, ready to do what they need to do and start the week in great form. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. So much to talk about.
You might actually believe that when you say it next time, Flex. It just kind of dawned on me at the end there. You sort of went, yeah. But I'm with you. I'm with you. I know exactly how you feel.
It's just what we do. You have to make sure you separate these two things, life and Man United, because if we try to attack our week based off of like what United are on, forget it. Whatever you've got planned for the week, then you're just not going to get through it.
If you attack the week the way that Manchester United attack the opposition goal,
exactly,
it's going to be a pretty toothless week. That
not going to happen. Exactly. Yeah. Marion Jones says, "Morning, guys. Morning, Owen and Flex." Triple M, not Triple H. Triple M says, "Good morning, guys. Shout out to all the WWE fans out there. The heel, one of the biggest heel turns in history. Oh, it's John Cena. Oh no, he's beat up. Was it Cody Rhodes? Is it?
Yeah.
Travis Scott. Shout out. Oh, too far away. I was going to get some Travises and hold on. Travis, my guy, walking down with the Rock.
He was taking it. He was taking it a little bit too serious. There's some clips when he was literally he punched Cody Rhodes in the face. And then you can literally see Cody Rhodes go, all right, And at one point, he lifts Cody Rhodes up, and John Cena goes, no, back down. You're not meant to be doing that.
Yeah, well, he's immersed. He's immersed, man.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, big up to all the WWE fans. Danny Luciano says, let's get a quick 100 likes as well. Yes, let's do that because there's a lot to talk about in this show. We're going to be talking about, is Amorim naive? Another legend has had a go at us in some capacity. When Rooney labelled Ruben Amorim as naive after saying that our aim and our goal is to win the Premier League at some point. I think that's all right. I think it probably is. But is he naive to say it in that moment? The end of Hojlund. Ruben Amorim also dropped a hint about the striker situation, what's going on. And some stuff this morning coming out from Samuel Luckhurst and others talking about Andre Onana's intention to stay, even though Ruben Amorim's intention is to buy another goalkeeper. I spoke about it in my match reaction last night. I was asking I haven't really checked the comments to see what it was like for you guys watching it. Like, could you hear what was going on around Onana? Like, there were boos a lot. There was a lot going on around him. I wanted to see what it was like with you guys watching if he wasn't at the game. So yeah, loads to talk about. Chido as well. We did talk about him, and of course the lead up to Sociedad, because Rob Dawson's done a piece as well, sort of saying Ineos placed a lot of emphasis on the cups. We're already out of all of them apart from the Europa League, and if you get absolutely rinsed away in the first leg against Sociedad and are all but out, it's a terrible position for Ruben Amorim to be in. But let's start with the first one. Is Ruben Amorim naive?
Yes, well, that is the question, isn't it? Of course. Wayne Rooney, he was on punditry duty yesterday for BBC for Match of the Day as Manchester United exited the FA Cup. Now, after we exited the competition, Ruben Amorim was asked in his post-match interview about thoughts, the where we're going in the future, the improvement, development, etc., etc., etc. Usual questions after a game. He said, quote, "I know we're losing games and trophies this season, but the goal is to win the Premier League. I don't know how long it's going to take, but that is our goal. If you think like that, you can suffer a little in these defeats, a lot sometimes, but we have a goal and we continue forward no matter what." Now, Wayne Rooney, as mentioned, he was on punditry duty and he was a bit staggered, shall we say, by what he was hearing. He says, quote, win the Premier League, but how can they compete? The goal should be to get further up the table. I think it's a little bit naive to say we're looking to win the Premier League because from where they are now, they're a long way off that. Now, the beauty about having to do so many interviews is you can react to what people are saying after the game to an interview that you've already done. And Ruben Amorim was asked about that. He said, being naive is to think we're going to do it this season or be the best contender next season. So I know that in this moment, everybody knows everything. And this is a bit of a swipe towards Wayne Rooney. I was a pundit when I finished my career. I know it's really easy. He says, our goal is to win the Premier League. Maybe it's not with me, but our goal as a club, the board, is to win the Premier League like we did in the past with all the great glories and legends of our club. And just to kind of round it out, to kind of pat himself on the back a little bit, he says, I'm not naive. That's why I'm here at 40 years old, coaching Manchester United.
Yeah. He's bit back a little bit on that one, yeah.
He's only a couple of years old, actually, than Rooney, isn't he? Rooney's what, 30? Is Rooney 40? He's 39, 40, something like the same age.
It must be late 30s, yeah. It might be the same age, but I think he's late 30s.
He's 39. He's 40 in October. So there you go.
Right,
so
there you go. They're basically the same age.
So what's more of a bit of a swipe going, kind of last, I'm here in the dugout, you're there in the studio, kind of thing.
Yeah.
With Plymouth.
Yeah, and I was going to say, and it's because Rooney's managerial career is obviously not. It hasn't been good at all. Look, there's, again, with everything, there's two sides to it. Rooney's point is say, don't really bring that up now because you're way off it. Like, you should really be aiming to just get higher in the league. What do you mean win the Premier League? But guess what? I would dare Ruben Amorim to say, I just want to get higher in the table. I dare him, because when he was absolutely honest and said, this is the shittest team we've ever seen, don't say that. Players, listen, you've got players in there. If I was in that dressing room and I heard the man, this is what the legends will say. If I was in that dressing room, he said that about me. You know, he's asking me to run through brick walls for him on a 3 p.m. Saturday. Tell you what, I'd be having words.
I'll be going with Man United.
United. Can't do that.
Yeah.
So now say you're going to win the Premier. Say your aim is to win it at some point. I'll tell you what, if I was in that dressing room, we just want to get higher up the league. I don't know why he's saying that. I don't know why I said we're miles off that.
I'll be going with Man United.
So this literally is,
you can't win.
Damned if he does. He cannot win if he's too realistic with his opinions or his intentions or his goals. He gets slated. If he's unrealistic with them, or showing some intent to keep standards of something that resembles what Man United is to the legends, because that's usually why they lose their heads, right? They lose their heads, I always say, because sometimes they want to stick the boot in a little bit. Yeah, get that sensationalist, get the headlines. But a lot of the time it's because of the sheer, they can't get their head out of what it was like when they were there, and they cannot believe how far it's fallen. Yeah. So when I was there, who's grabbing him and saying, why are you doing that? Marcus Rashford's not training. I can't even talk about this. Well, where's the quality? Where's this? Keane was doing it the other day. But also, they then moan if he tries to uphold that standard of, this is Man United and the aim should be to win the Premier League. Do you know what I mean? He's then called naive for saying it. So Ruben just needs to keep doing what he's doing. I think also Rooney as well. He's just come out of the manager situation at Plymouth. It hasn't gone well at there. Hasn't gone well at Birmingham. Hasn't gone well at Derby. He actually got handed a tough hand there, but it still didn't end up well. Yeah, it was tough, but it didn't end well. MLS as well. So it hasn't been great for Wayne Rooney. We can all say that. We hope that Wazza, can pick it up and be a great manager, but it hasn't been a great start, let's say. So is he trying to get into the punditry, make a big statement, get everyone talking? I think that's
he's a good pundit. And he's a good
pundit. Yeah, he is. He is a good pundit. I just think with that one, he's probably just gone in a little bit too much on that for me.
Well, and also as well, I suppose it's one of those ones where, really, like, why is a good pundit? It's the Roy Keane thing. Rooney's a good pundit because he doesn't really give too much of a shit. What he's saying. He'll just say what he wants. He's quite blunt. Obviously, he was a fantastic player, one of England's greatest players ever. Manchester United's record goal scorer. So what he does say comes with a bit of weight to it. But like I said, I do think with Amorim there, he's kind of damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. I mean, it's not really ideal, I think, to after you've gone out of a cup competition and you're so low in the league to be talking about the long-term goal to win the league. You might as well just kind of answer the questions and get in and get out kind of situation. But like you said, I do think you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. I mean, just in talking about the game in general yesterday, it's just more of the same, really, isn't it? I mean, we're still going through this thing. I started the stream yesterday and just laid out what the game was going to be. I thought we'd end up winning. We didn't. But laid out what the game would be in terms of, look, it's not going to be pretty to watch. We're probably going to go 1-0 down. We might get back into the game, but still it's not going to be pretty to watch, etc., etc., etc. And we know it. Like we know that's what the game is going to be. We know how it's going to play out. But still, it's like getting through that game. It's just so difficult. You know what I mean? So difficult. Watching the lack of anything, sort of attacking threat, style of play apart from the horseshoe. And to be fair, as much as it was kind of a Roy Keane hold that with Bruno scored, because Bruno once again digs us out of a hole, I could kind of see what he was saying as well by some of the players when they're bluffing with closing the players down, because they were doing that at points where it's like, I'm closing you down, but I'm not really closing you down. When I'm running towards you, but I'm actually kind of like 5 yards off. And then once they pass the ball past me, I've done my job. I press.
You leave it, yeah.
I press there, and you go, well, you didn't, and then obviously you were at the game. I was watching it on the stream and hearing it. It was just silent at Old Trafford.
Flat.
Because there's nothing to
It's
cheer.
flat. It's flat. And actually, the first 20 minutes, the crowd was all right. There was quite a few songs. I actually looked about. I thought this is all right. We haven't scored yet. We haven't really done a lot, but we've started on the front foot. Fulham are actually playing particularly bad. They're passing the ball out of play. They're giving it away. Marcus Silva frustrated. Maguire's stepping in to nick it. De Ligt was stepping in on the front foot to nick it, get the attack going again. Eriksen, a couple of first-time balls into the right channels, a couple of switches from De Ligt to Dalot. Just, a shot on target from Bruno, corner. We started in the right vein, I would say, for 20 minutes. And then you get this middle period of the first half where it's not like Fulham wrestle back control. We just stopped doing basic things.
Just taper off. We
just taper off. And then I think there was a pause in play for some stuff, and then it just got a bit messy. And then you find yourself at like the 44th minute, a couple of back-to-back corners, and you're like, well, okay, it's been kind of crap. But let's get in a minute and assess then. And then you go 1-0 down. You go 1-0 down in that moment. And you come out again in the second half. It wasn't, again, we weren't on the front foot. The goal comes from nothing, really. It comes from, the types of goals we want to see. The left fullback, wing back getting forward and swinging in crosses and creating chances. Fair play to Dalot. He did it for once. And it's a really tough finish from Bruno, actually. When you watch it back, it's bouncing up, weaker foot to control that into the corner. It's great. Through the legs. It's a great finish from the problem. But at the end of the day, you have to say, because that's, look, where are we with Bruno? Where this is why. It's just a misguided conversation, which Roy Keane has caused. A misguided conversation at this point of this season, of all seasons, to do this. It makes no sense. But this was about the Amorim naive thing. We lost that game yesterday on pens. It was an even game between two teams who weren't at it. Not much quality in the game. We had some chances. Could have been more clinical. Chido, unlucky not to get us the win. Onana made some routine to decent saves, I'd say. That he
the one where he tipped it around the post, that was a good save.
Was that Smith Rowe one? That was a good save, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then there was another one. Did he tip another one round the post as well? He made two where I thought
I forget. A couple of good saves.
But he did. There was one from Lukic, I think. There was one from Lukic and one from Onana, one from Smith Rowe. And so after all the stick he was getting, he still made a couple of saves that kept us in the game. Garnacho has a chance near the end. Probably should do better. Chido has a chance. But other than that, there wasn't much in the game. There wasn't much in the game.
If it wasn't a knockout game, you'd have gone, man, draw's fair result.
A draw, and you just, keep our head above the water, this, that, and the other.
If it was the Premier League, we'd have probably taken a draw. We'd have been like, oh, actually, it's more points. Well, that's fine. We'll do no problem. But knockout football, if you go to pens, it's a lottery.
Exactly. Terence Pace says, seriously, a lot of these ex-players turned pundits need to stop giving their opinion. It doesn't help the situation at all, but adds to toxicity. And Joe Fleming says, Scholes is a disgrace. He's always Nelly negative.
I'd kind of push back, to be fair, on that first one from Terence there, of ultimately, if you're a pundit, you're paid to be there to give your opinion, ain't you? And this is when it goes back to sometimes, you know, we do shows like this, and sometimes it's, oh, be positive. Well, unfortunately, you know, when you're watching the games yesterday, there isn't a lot to be positive about. You know, we'd be the first to criticize another club's ex-players if, you know, their team went out and they were trying to say, oh, everything's good, everything's good. You'd be like, look at that bias there. I mean, Rooney's there to give his opinion, you know, and his opinion is what he said is naive. He's not 1,000,000% wrong. Now, when it comes to, like, say, the Roy Keane one with Bruno, you push back on that because you go, well, I feel like your criticisms, whilst for a lot of the players it's warranted, I feel like it's a bit misguided and we're honing in on the wrong person here. But you know, Ruben Amorim's done an interview. It cuts back to Wayne Rooney. And what do you think of what he said? I think it's a bit naive. Ruben Amorim has the platform then also to hit back, which he's done, put Rooney in his place, you know, ish. Well, you know, I'm 40 and I'm managing Manchester United. You're in the studio kind of thing. I've been a pundit. It's easy. Fair enough. I mean, I'm not sure what Rooney's meant to say there, really, in fairness to him. I mean, I get, like, you know, Paul Scholes has come out and said some questionable stuff about players, which you go like, I don't know about that, Paul, you know, when there's no real merit in some of the stuff that he's saying. But I don't know. I mean, it goes back to what you think punditry's there, what they're there for.
I push it, and it's interesting because Ryan Douglas, he comes on our show and Inside Devils, brought this. He had a sort of viral clip with Ali McCoy because he was going in on Scholes and Neville, and he brought it to our show, and I was like, well, they got standards, and if we drop the standards and don't remind ourselves of what we were and what we have to get back to being, sometimes you can lose it a bit. But his thing was, I get that, but they could push it too far where it becomes counterproductive. And I think we saw that with the Keane one, where it became counterproductive. So I think they're entitled, like you said, they're entitled to their opinion. They're paid to give their opinion. They're coming from a class whereby they're in a whole different era. You know, real men in there, real players in there, top draw players in there, in that. And they wouldn't stand for certain things. But what's Bruno supposed to do? Create Cantonas and Bruces and Pallisters and Giggs and Scholes and Beckhams. Like, he's playing in this era. If Roy Keane played in this team now, with that around him, he'd be throwing his arms up as well. He'd be going crazy.
And also,
well.
can I say that I don't even think the Rooney comment's that harsh.
No, the Rooney one.
In comparison to what others have said, I mean,
yeah.
You know, it says, he's wrong because it's very easy to be a pundit live on TV and call a professional coach naive. But if that's what he thinks, are we sort of saying you're not allowed to say what you think now? No,
you just say,
really?
People are just saying, I think people are just saying they're saying he's wrong. They're saying they disagree, which is what they think.
Which is fine. Yeah. Which is
they're
fine.
just saying, nah, it's not like, Rooney, you're out of order. What is it? I just think Wayne has gone, he thinks he's naive in that moment to pivot towards the Premier League. He's saying, you've just gone out of the FA Cup. Stick to this. Maybe say, listen, it's another cup down. We really wanted to win it with the holders. It's disappointing. But we just want to keep improving every game. But he means it as to immediately pivot to the Premier League. We just want to win that. On a different conversation, overall, Amorim's right. Our aim is to win the Premier League. It should always be to win the Premier League at Man United. But Rooney means, maybe don't say that now. That's a bit naive to drop that now.
Because I would argue, what's the difference? I remember a couple of years ago, Richard Arnold did one of his, quarterly earnings calls thing. And I remember him saying, we're closing the gap on Manchester City. And we went, well, you're not. That's naive.
Yeah.
You know, is there much difference with our goal is to win the Premier League? And if I would say, my concern would be, well, if Wayne Rooney's saying that on television, it goes, that's a bit naive, then surely people in the dressing room are going to be looking around at each other going, win the Premier League.
Yeah.
We're shit. You know what I mean? We're.
But if he says, if he did come out and say, we just want to get to 10th. We just want to get into mid-table.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Then it goes I
suppose that's when you go back. That's when you go back to. That's when you go back to. Maybe the naivety is just kind of sort of saying those things in general. It's just kind of, look, we're really disappointed. You know, we'll
just
try and bounce back into the next.
And this goes into the bit of, is Ruben too honest?
Yeah,
as well.
Exactly.
Because actually, I saw a piece, and again, most people were saying, damned if he does, damned if he doesn't, by the British media. Eric deluded. Well, that's your assessment of what happened. No, Eric, that's everybody's. Like, we got run through. Like we got no midfield. Like they had loads of chances. Like we faced a record 17 shots, Eric. So, well, that's how you see it. So that's deluded.
Yeah.
And then this guy's going, worst Man United team has ever been. Rather play the goalkeeper coach instead of a player who's not committed. In this case, Marcus Rashford. Offering up headlines and stuff like that. So we've gone from two polar opposite. We've gone from one opposite to the other. And now the media are saying, is he too honest? Us as fans have started off by saying, this is refreshing. Just say it as it is. Say that it was shit. At least the manager's seeing what I'm seeing. So as a fan, that makes me feel better because there's someone in the seat that, okay, it's not going well, but he sees it. But then it's like, what's all this talking? No, not seeing it on the pitch. He should change. Like, I don't care what he says. It's the charm's worn off. Yeah, he's got the good looks. He's got the great clothes. He's charming. He speaks well. All of these things. He ain't adapting. Top managers adapt. I don't like this. Stop talking. Just do it. It changes. It changes. And guess what? We change like the wind. We do. With this Chido situation as well. It's play Chido. This is what will happen. He's going to struggle to score. Might struggle to score some goals. The touch and the hold-up play. Listen, he's going to be nervous because we've had to fast-track this kid. Absolutely fast-track him. And it's going to be how long? I'm asking the question. How long until... Doesn't really look after the board. He doesn't really. How long?
Flex already started. It's already started. I'm not even joking. Last night in the chat, right? A couple of touches by Chido went to a Fulham player.
Yeah, struggled a bit.
I'm telling you, he's not that. If you've watched youth games, you'll know he's not that. And you go, guys, Roy Keane, really. Really did. And then in the space of 30 minutes, well, how long was he on the pitch roughly for in the end last night? Because obviously he played all of extra time.
Well, he came on quite early. He came on he got half an hour, and then he played probably about 60 odd minutes.
Probably about 60 minutes. He did more in his period of time than Hojlund did all game. And that's not even eye test. That's eye test, and that's also statistically. I saw a tweet, I think I'll try and find it, but basically saying in that period of time, he did significantly more than Rasmus Hojlund did throughout the entirety of that game. Right now, this was it. It was from Statman Dave. He said Chido Obi had 3 big chances in 52 minutes today. For comparison, Rasmus Hojlund has had 3 big chances in 22 Premier League matches this season. Right. So in 52 minutes, Chido had as many chances as Rasmus Hojlund has had in 22 Premier League matches. And this is when you go back to that whole thing about like, oh, yeah, but Rasmus doesn't get the service. Sometimes you got to sort of make your own luck. Sometimes you have to. One of the chances he got yesterday, Chido, was just shoving Bassi off the ball.
Exactly.
And something that Hojlund couldn't do. Something he couldn't do for the entirety of the game. Couple of times, Mazraoui, good ball in behind. Bassi, easy. Just sort of shrug him off, get the ball back. Chido comes on. He's 17. Bit of a nudge, create something out of nothing. Play on the shoulder. Get in the right positions for someone to find you. And then if you don't throw your hands up in the air. Don't bother go, actually, I'll just try and get involved and I'll just wrestle. I'll stick to what I'm meant to be doing. And all right, the best chance he had was actually he gets it on target and it's a really good save from Leno. I'm not sure what more Chido can really do in that situation.
No, he couldn't do anything extra.
So that's when you get back into that kind of thing of, it's kind of, I get it. We don't create a lot of chances, even though we kind of do actually, because we've had as many big chances in the Premier League as Nottingham Forest. They're third. We just actually can't really score them that much. Sometimes you do make your own luck. And when it comes to Chido now, Amorim was talking after the game. Ironically enough, he used the words. He said, Chido, very good moves, a lot to improve, a bit naive, is what he said. So he can use it, not Wayne. He said, but a very good day for Chido, less so for the team. And to be fair, you would say, like, well, look, if you're getting as many chances as Rasmus is getting practically all season in the space of 52 minutes, then I know when we kind of sometimes push back on this, 17, throw him in, because you said yesterday during your fan view, I mentioned it during the game, the fact that he is playing at the moment shouldn't be happening, particularly when you've just had 2 summers where you've bought strikers, one for 60 to 70 million, another for like 35 million pounds. You shouldn't be in this position where you're going, right, we need to play this 17-year-old up front because our other strikers cannot score goals. One of them's not even a striker in Xerxes. He played well yesterday, but he's not a striker. And the other one can't score, so we've got to play him. Like, this was not the timeline that he was meant to be on. But I don't see any other decision at this point, really,
No, it goes back to the thing of could it get worse by putting him there? And the answer is no. That's what people. So, and I go back to again. I brought these two lads up a little while ago after the first time at Spurs at the Carabao Cup when they said they've got Chido there and the thing. Just play him. It can't be worse than Hojlund. Fair play to them because they said it from then, like a lot of people did. To be fair, and Hojlund's gone on to continually be awful since then. So the point is that it's already bad. So the bar is on the floor. So it can't go lower. So gamble. Just put the kid in. If he's rough around the edges and takes some bad touches, there's a lot more leeway for that kid than there is for the guy who's had
Rasmus
20. Yeah, exactly. Who's 22 years of age and has got more experience. Not enough experience to be leading the line for Man United, by the way. But let's also look at it from this point of view. It depends on how Rasmus's mindset is, but it can help him by taking him out. It can help Rasmus by having somebody else that the pressure's going to be on. I know it's quite selfish to think like that, but Rasmus could do with that. He could do with everybody looking at somebody else. Then sort of the spotlight's not on him and get off the bench, nick a goal, do something. Get a start. Or it could be your first start in 5 games because you've been out of it. Do something. Take the pressure off him a little bit because right now it is a mixture of like ability-wise, it just isn't there. But also you cannot say his confidence is not at like minus 100 as well. Like he just looks a bag of nerves anytime the ball goes near him. You can see it. You can feel it in the stadium. Amorim has to keep answering questions. But out of it as well, they just don't want to put too much on Chido because, again, if you think about it now, let's be real. Going away to Sociedad, tough game. If we get smashed in that game and it's over in the first leg, the toxicity and the scrutiny on Ruben, everything intensifies. It's a tough atmosphere, But listen, Garnacho got his first goal there. Ronaldo set him up. Sometimes you've got to do it. People are saying, but the Arsenal game, play him against them. Yeah. They give him his first start against Saliba and Gabriel. How about that?
It would have been a bit different had he scored yesterday, Chido. It would have been almost impossible not to, But now because obviously we didn't, he did rather, and we went out. It's but I think it comes the pressure that comes with it. I mean, I saw Jamie Jackson obviously, and I really like Jamie Jackson. I think he's a really good talker, but I massively disagree what he tweeted yesterday. He said during the game, he said, "So far, Obi has frozen 2 chances to score and couldn't. Next time, maybe." And you just look at that, and to be fair, it did get a pretty negative reaction from a lot of people on social media going, "Come on, Jamie, that's really harsh." But I think what that does show is, look, the Man United press, they're fucking ruthless. Like they don't give a shit. I know. And same with parts of the fan base too. Like I said, the majority, to be fair, of the live chat like yesterday was 17. The guy can't even go and buy a beer. Yeah, let alone he's playing for Manchester. He's never even started a game for Manchester United. Bear in mind, he's just come on a couple of times, but he offers more than your 60 to 70 million pound striker who's like 5 years older than him. Make some chances, create some chances, good movement. And because the goalkeeper made a really good save, that opens him up for criticism of like, he's frozen. You go, frozen? I mean, if I was even just on the touchline, I'd be freezing at 17. Oh my God. It takes some balls to play for a shitty Manchester United side at 17 years old and actually offer more than the senior strikers in the team. My goodness me. So maybe when people at United do see that kind of reaction, they go, I just maybe not. And Tiger Lee says that he's a big Hojlund defender. Says offers you more. Can you tell us what he did to that effect, please? I will read out the stat again. In fact, I will screen grab it just so it's not bullshit or anything like that. Yeah, because sometimes I'll be like, no, you just false agendas, Flex. Not gonna do false agendas or anything like that.
Well,
No.
someone against him as well. Also, Imran says Rasmus has 2 goals from 3 big chances. Obi has 0 goals from 3 big chances. Media, Obi can't hit a barn door. So criticism for Chido, which is just silly. But yes.
I think they're being, to be fair, Imran's being facetious there.
Yeah,
but yeah, that was the one. That was the thing that Statman Dave said. Chido Obi had 3 big chances in 52 minutes today. For comparison, Rasmus Hojlund had 3 big chances in 22 Premier League matches this season. And look, that does not come down to then. If you see that does not come down to, well, Chido in 52 is a suggestion that Chido in 52 minutes got more service than Rasmus got in 22 Premier League matches. If that's the conclusion you get from that one, then I would say that's not a service issue.
No, it's not exactly. And obviously, look, I think to come to that conclusion fully, I say my favorite phrase of sample size. Obviously, it's 1 game, so you go, okay, Chido could go on to have no more shots in his next. We don't know, but it's not to kick off on that foot when Rasmus has been so bad, and the kid just comes on him in 52 minutes, gets those looks. It's not. That's a damning stat in Hojlund's favor, really. Dwayne says, "Morning Flex and Owen, new day, gloomy day. Buckle up. We're buckled up. Don't worry. We are." Kenny Fan TV says, "Big up Flex and Owen. There goes our realistic chance in getting Europe next season, which was the FA Cup. We ain't winning Europa." I tend to agree as well about winning Europa. Forget it. Nah, not now. We got a little bit when Naman was there, a little bit of something. Nah, not now. Max says, I pray this team doesn't do to Obi what it's done to Hojlund. What Chido gave us was what Rasmus used to give us until he lost all his confidence. And that's what I'm saying. Like Chido, again, we're saying just play him, but if he goes on a long barren spell of getting eaten up and can't get past the big defenders and it's just getting nicked off him and then he's not getting any shots, we're back to square one. And even worse so because we're rushing a 17. He's not ready even more. As Rasmus Hojlund, no senior football. We haven't even let this guy flipping master the under-21s. We haven't even let him master the under-21s. This is an under-18s player. Like, he's broke all the records. He's been unbelievable in Arsenal's under-18s. He's been unbelievable in our under-18s as soon as he got there. So at that level, he's way too good for that. We had to get him into under-21s football. He's only played twice for our under-21s and only twice for theirs, for Arsenal's. And, look, 12... Under-18s, he played 9 games, scored 12 goals. Under-18s for Arsenal last year, played 21 games, scored 32 goals. So he's a goal machine at that level, at youth level. Under-21s is a big step up. Let's see how he does. No, sorry, kid. Get the first team, score some goals, get us through to the next round of the FA Cup. At home against Old Trafford, please. Like, what? You know what I mean? Now it's, tell you what, go straight into Europa League, Sociedad away.
Well,
Arsenal at home, fancy it. It's like
before the game yesterday, I was saying, like, if you had to pick one of those competitions that we were more likely to win, what would it be? And a lot of people were saying Europa, and I actually pushed back on that. I was pushing back on that by saying, actually, I felt FA Cup at the time because more so just because of the FA Cups are just one-off games, exactly. Whereas across 2 legs, you know what I mean? Across 2 legs. Home and away. As much as we say, like, you know what I mean? As much as we say, yeah, but the quality of the team in the Europa League. Look at us as quality of the team. Like, what are we? I mean, I suppose our European form's been better this season. You can have that to hold on to, perhaps, but like you said, that was with players that aren't out now for the rest of the season, like Ahmad, and it's just. I don't know, like this idea of kind of, we're going to salvage the season out of something. I'm not really sure it's salvageable, to be honest with you. I just don't see it. I just don't. Across 2 legs.
We ain't winning the Europa League. I'd say that. I'd say that from now. I don't think we'll get past Real Sociedad, actually, to be honest with you. I just think it's starting to get to. The goals are just drying up. We keep making silly mistakes. Might not get smashed over 2 legs. It might be narrow, but I'm starting to just see it all it's all just collapsing now. Well, it's been collapsing for a while, but I think, the proper end. I think it's nearly there. Like we're hanging on by a thread.
I think about it as well. If we did go out to Real Sociedad, right? Because that's literally the next 2 weeks. Like, our season could be finished in 2 weeks' time.
That's it.
And we'll just have like 3 months of just playing Premier League games. You know, like Chelsea a couple of years ago, because they weren't in Europe and they were like bottom half. And it just basically just played
Painful.
games, but they lost pretty much every game between then and the end of the season because it didn't matter. Like, it just
It's
didn't
painful,
matter.
yeah.
So they just kept losing games between then and the end of the season. We're going to get relegated. But there was like, well,
Just going to keep losing, yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of the losses, the last one of the losses they had was against us. We beat them like 4-0 at Old Trafford,
Yeah,
4-2
they
or
had
something like that.
that's
4-1.
it was the Graham Potter season when they ended up with Frank Lampard there. Because you remember, like Lampard came in and they just basically just didn't win any games, but it didn't
it was
matter
just to get
because
to the end of the season. Yeah,
yeah.
it's crazy. It really is. We have got nearly 1,400 people watching, 266 likes. So basically pushing towards the 300 mark. Let's do that, guys, so we can like set the 500. Let's set the 500 from now. Please do drop a like on the video as well. Let's get the rest of the super chats read out. Rodrigo says a lot of people are blaming Amorim, but the question is, what would we do better with another manager? The question is, would we do better with another manager? I don't think so. And Ivor Clip says this is why Rashford failed, because he wasn't fully developed as a centre forward, but we rushed him in, and now his career is all over the place. Don't do it. And Jaycon says, watch Welbeck, simple movement, something Rasmus doesn't do. Mbappe does the same, run in behind over and over. That's what we need. Yeah, exactly. There's nothing. Nobody runs in behind. Shout out to Mackie's gifted a United View membership to somebody. Didn't see who it was. But big up to you. Nice and generous of you on a Monday morning, bro. Unquabitsia says hat trick or bust, basically. Let the kid breathe. Yeah, exactly. There's no in between, and it's going to be really difficult for Chido. Really, really difficult in this. Dwayne says Obi has played less than 5. Garnacho played less than 25. Menu played less than 30 in under 21s. We are fast tracking academy kids to save us, but we are stunting their growth process. Yeah, that's true. Exactly. They're arriving in the team and being asked to just do everything.
Oh yeah, he should be playing. He shouldn't.
Shouldn't be there. Shouldn't be there at all. Obviously, the Arsenal fans will be salty. They're all saying, this Chido kid's crap. That's just because they're salty. He's left them to come to us, and they don't have anybody. So they're angry at poor Chido and cussing out a 17-year-old. Pretty disgusting behaviour, to be honest.
Bizarre,
from them Arsenal fans. They're a little bit weird. A lot of Arsenal fans saying, hold that, Chido, and this kid's crap. And I like, honestly, grow up. But that's up to them if they want to do that.
I mean, they're the same ones going, he's not ready. Look at Man United. I can't believe they're playing a 17-year-old. But they're also then going, well, I bet you wish he stayed because he'd be playing for Arsenal now. So you're saying, oh, right, so Man United are desperate because we're playing him. But if he was at Arsenal, you wouldn't be desperate for playing him. You've got no strikers at the moment. And you're also like wishing injury on him. You're fucking bizarre.
Weird bunch. Weird bunch. I did see a couple of Arsenal fans, though, to be fair, push back.
I saw a couple of pushback on it going, saying
what are you doing?
Weird. It's weird behaviour.
That's the sort of thing that lets, obviously, social media is a loud minority of idiots, so that lets the majority of like sane people down. Eminem says, morning lads, crap result, not so confident on Thursday, 100% on Obi. It's damning how well he links up compared to Rasmus. Felt like we had 11 players on. Yeah, someone said to me yesterday, it's like playing with 10 men and you got Rasmus as well. Yes, let's get on to Andre Onana, actually, because it's very interesting, the news coming out this morning from Samuel Luckhurst and others. But Samuel Luckhurst has done a piece saying that Andre Onana makes decision on Man United future. He is intent on staying at Manchester United next season despite his struggling form. United head coach Ruben Amorim wants to sign a new goalkeeper in the summer, but Onana considers United to be the only club he wishes to play for. He goes on to just drop some stats in and etc. etc. But the main crux of it is that Onana wants to stay, but Ruben wants him to leave.
What do you want, Flex?
Needs to leave. We know this. Like we haven't hidden our opinion. I don't think anybody has recently. There might be some people, there always is, who probably think, no, he's better than what he's showing. The confidence is down and this, that, and the other. But we're just not going to go anywhere positive. We're not going to go forward with Onana. It's just as simple as that. He breeds panic into the back 4, 5, 3, whatever you call it. He breeds chaos. He breeds a sense of uncertainty. into what's going on. In the stadium, I'll explain what I saw and heard versus how you guys saw it. Things were fine for like half an hour, 20 minutes. Then there was a goal kick in the first half whereby he took ages to take it, like ages, and then he kicked it. And did it go out or did it? No. They just went to them, and Dalot was the right person to have passed it to. And he took ages, and then the crowd was just like, "Just kick it! Like, what are you doing? Hurry up!" And then that went out, and then I don't know if you guys saw all the players. They sort of came over. They got their hands over their mouth. They're doing this, saying, "Look, you do that and do that," and he's going, "Oh, this, that, and the other. Oh, but you do this," and Dalot's going, "Oh, but that," and you could just tell it breeds panic. They're not confident in him. Then he comes to go catch a ball. I think Maguire sort of leaves it because that's going to be keepers. Is then it sort of hits off his thigh, goes to the ground, and then he jumps on it. So he gets it. But again, it was a moment where the crowd then go, "Oh, fucking Jesus." You know, Maguire's gone like this. Then he's gone up to Maguire, sort of give him a pat, say, "Don't worry, I've got it." But again, shaky. And then Ruben tried to defend him, or did defend him, and saying, because he was asked, because he's just taken 100 years on all the goal kicks. But really, really taking ages. And it's like, well, you're going to pass it to him anyway. Do it quicker. We're not winning. Like, come on. Like, what are you doing? And they started booing him. They started booing the action of taking too long. And it just reverberated around the whole ground. It sucked into the players, the crowd, the stands. And it just had a really, really negative effect. He didn't make a big clanger that led to a goal or anything like that. He couldn't do anything for the goal that was scored. That was on Mazraoui. He was sleeping at the back post. But it's overall, it's a big problem, and he's got to go.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny because obviously you called it at half time on the match view, and in the first half, maybe I couldn't really notice it as much. But once you mentioned it, certainly in the second half, it was really, really noticeable. I don't know if it's just because it was getting louder and actually they were focusing more on it in terms of the television in the second half. But you could tell every time there was a goal kick, the crowd started getting restless, and then they would start booing. They would start going, "Do I take it?" Because there would be this constant conversation between him and Dalot of like, "Oh, are you passing it to me, or are we going to do this?" And you could see Dalot and him sort of talking at each other, going, "What's going on there?" And sometimes when he would claim the ball, and this happens a lot at Old Trafford. And I think, again, this is sort of being so used to Man United playing front foot, almost counter-attacking football, even back to the Sir Alex times of there's this like expectation of goalkeeper catches the ball, claims across. They're like, right, roll it out, go. And then when he sort of catches, he's going like that and waiting a bit.
He's
and
calming it down on purpose as well.
And everyone's going, fucking go. And he's like, and then it builds this sort of tension. And
does Ruben have a point, Owen? Does Ruben have a point where he was like, he was trying to just, because the players were knackered, and I know the fans wanted it, but he's helping us because we were tired, is what Ruben's explanation for it was.
I don't know. For me, when it comes to it, look, yesterday, that's minor stuff for me.
Yeah.
You know, very, very minor stuff.
You made saves that kept us in the game yesterday.
Yeah, he did. We made saves that kept us in the game. My biggest issue with Andre Onana is, as a goalkeeper, he's just not very good. Goalkeeping fundamentals, keeping the ball at the back of the net. He's just not good. You know, he is, as much as he did make some good saves yesterday, the mistakes come in. You know, as much as game slowed down, we played pretty slow anyway. You know, I remember at one point he caught it, and to be fair, like he rolled the ball out to, I think it was Bruno. Bruno passes the ball, I think, to Dalot. And this is, you've got space here because this is on from an opposition corner. You can go forward, play the ball into space, blah, blah, blah. Turn around, pass it back. It ended up at Onana's feet. Yeah. And then he went long and they got the ball back. And I thought, I just couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. And you go, that's not really Andre Onana's fault. They're just playing back to him all the time. So I don't know. I don't know. All I do is we'll put a poll in the chat. Should Manchester United replace Andre Onana in the summer? And 87% say yes. Wow. And I think it probably speaks volumes, I think, which is just, the feet stuff, cool, but it's
not even that great.
It's not even that great. Again, his distribution, he's just comfortable at getting it 5-yard passes. The defenders are comfortable passing the ball back to him. You don't have to worry about that. You did with De Gea. I remember watching.
Yeah,
I was waiting for one of the press conferences once, and they were showing highlights of when we played Real Betis in the Europa League. And a couple of times they passed the ball back to De Gea, and he's getting the ball stuck under his feet and all this kind of stuff. And you felt tension in Old Trafford from that, because there was tension of every time they would pass the ball back to him under pressure.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
And that's where the revisionism, you got to be careful, because it's like, okay, move on from De Gea, but don't replace him with someone like Onana.
Exactly, and that's what we've been saying recently, isn't it? Which is the fundamental is, it's not necessarily a bad decision to move players on. It's just about who you replace them with. It's like the Bruno thing. You want to move Bruno Fernandes on? Fine. But also, you got to replace him with someone that's going to do either equal to what he's doing or better. De Gea, not necessarily the wrong decision to move him on, but you've got to replace him with someone that is going to offer either as much as him or more. And we haven't done that. We just haven't. He's just not good enough fundamentally as a goalkeeper. Will we get one in the summer? I have no idea. Zero idea. As much as Samuel Lucas says that Ruben will want to get rid of him, maybe we just a couple of months ago, all those reports going, so-and-so players that they're all up for sale apart from Kobe, Onana, blah, 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 because they just thought the goalkeeper wasn't even a priority. But I don't know.
Yeah, but Ken says, when Bayern gets back, I don't want to see Onana ever again. Strong words. And Dwayne says, shout out to Bruno and Dallo. Best ability in any sport is availability. 9,000 minutes of club and country since 23. 100 back-to-back games. Ronaldo influence, take care of everybody. Also, shout out to Heaven. Yeah, he made his debut yesterday. That's kind of slipped under the radar. Look quite competent. Yeah, right place. Making sure his positioning was good, so he can just clear danger and not make any silly mistakes.
Oh my God.
Lindelof. I just don't know. Did he say Yoro was injured in the end? What did he say about that?
Lindelof, obviously, I know there's a lot of focus will be on, obviously, missing the penalty, Lindelof. But even as soon as he stepped up, I knew he was going to miss, because I don't think he did anything right when he came on the pitch.
No, first thing he did was get pushed off got done by Meunier, didn't he? He got spotlight.
He got Andreas Pereira nearly broke his ankles.
Dropped him down, and someone got back and flipping saved the day.
A couple of times tried to clear it, and he just basically kicked it up into the air. It was just there was one where it was that really long goalkeeping, or do we do a goal kick, Dallo, whatever? Passed it to Lindelof. Lindelof's got it, passes it straight to a Fulham player, and they're through. Honestly, I don't know how long he was on the pitch, but he stunk up the joint. It was one of those ones where you go, genuinely, I appreciate the service and that, but thank God you are leaving in the summer. You look, 100%. I know Rusty hasn't played a lot of football, but it was absolutely not. Absolutely.
And I'm like, Yoro must have been. I don't understand it. I don't understand why. I didn't see anything glaring about that. He said, in general, the players were tired, so Onana was taking a bit long. But I saw on the TV screen that Yoro was talking in the ear to one of the physios, but I don't. It had to have been. It was so early as well. And I was like, Yoro's doing all right. Why are we making this change? That for Lindelof as well. It doesn't make any sense. But when Heaven came on, he looked okay. And especially because we don't have any left footers in that back three. Be interesting to see what that can bring if they keep giving him a bit of game time off the bench here and there to get him going.
I thought he did all right.
He was comfortable, And actually, if it does go to shit, if we go out of the Europa League, really, in the Prem, you should just play him.
Maybe. I was just about to say, maybe, like you said, if in a couple of weeks' time and we're out of the Europa League and we know we're going to stay
we're still in it, but you need to keep the first team. If you know you need to play Yoro, Maguire, and De Ligt, just for as much as you can in those two games.
Yeah,
Aiden Heaven in and at home against fucking Wolves or whoever it might be by then. Just play him, or away at Forest of Jafta, just play him.
Because he played in the middle of the three as well yesterday, which I was quite surprised about as well. He did, so he was in the middle. But a couple of interceptions from crosses, clearances, looked fairly calm. Which is, again, the irony is that Victor Lindelof came on, the Iceman looked nothing but calm when he came onto the pitch. It looked like a bag of nerves. You go, oh my goodness me! And then that's why, as soon as he was stepping up to take the pen, I thought, no chance.
Yeah, you just knew, and even putting Xerxes in that position, I wasn't confident he'd score as well. But it just, he had a good game. It wasn't his fault. I saw a United fan called into talks about saying, why are we letting Xerxes take mate, he won us the game against Arsenal. Why would you? And he's actually been good since then. His confidence has gone up. Why would you not give him the opportunity? It's almost like a diss to say to him, listen, we don't think you're up to this. Don't take one in this shootout. Like, just leave him alone.
It's probably yesterday I was saying this during the match view as well. It's probably like the most involved in a game that I've probably seen him. He had a lot of the ball for him yesterday, particularly as it went on into extra time. He had a lot of touches.
He's knackered as well,
and he looked pretty exexhausted.
But he laid on a couple of chances near the end, some great balls.
Exactly. Still not amazing. A couple of passes that are a bit wayward, and you go, maybe you should do a bit better there. But it's just
his touch is just really good. He just brings the ball down.
The more you watch him, again, especially playing as the 10, you just go, we bought him as a striker in the summer. Like just he's not. He's not. Exactly. In the 10, when he sometimes comes a bit deeper, like you said, if the ball's dropping out of the air, you always back him to touch, stop it dead. Good passes forward, played it through the legs, won some fouls a couple of times.
Does a lot of nutmegs. He does a lot of little chops.
Yeah, exactly.
Whoopsie.
Maybe thinks he has more time on the ball than he does quite a bit. You know what I mean? Some spatial awareness isn't amazing, but he's not a striker. Like, just so not a striker. He is a 10.
He's perfect for these two positions. It's good that we do play 2 10s now because he's perfect for the right 10. I think the problem is that when you had Eriksen and Xerxes, that's why when Garnacho comes on, he freshens it up. His decision making was poor, by the way. He wasn't good. But straight away he went at Castagna. Straight away, I think he got corner straight. I think you need 1 10 that's like can keep the ball and knit the play together.
Almost
then
like
you need the other.
Yeah,
you need one that can really go at people. Yeah. And then when these wing backs we get the right ones, then your real take-ons come from them. Because what keeps happening is between Mazraoui and Dalot, they haven't got that. They don't possess that natural ability to in 1v1 take-ons. Dalot does that one where he takes it from his right foot to his left and goes past someone quickly. He does that sometimes. But the overall quality on his left side is not good.
It's mad that we already missed Dorgu, didn't we, yesterday? Which is kind of we literally he's only been for a couple of games, but
then Dalot got the assist though. He did do what we'd want Dorgu there. Left foot, get into that position, swing it in on your left foot. His right foot, he still did it. That's what Dorgu would have done in that position. That's what we want more from Dalot. He got a goal, so he got an assist.
Like you said, when you think about it, you go, imagine we had Dorgu then in the summer. You're assuming whether it's Kendo, whether it's someone else, you just go, imagine we actually had people that up and down, exactly. Balls into the box. That would make such a difference. We just don't have that. And it goes back to the decision once again of getting a coach in mid-season with a group of players that do not fit his system. You are going to get performances like we've seen. And I suppose it's just a case of not blowing that all up also as well, because that is the only worry of, let's say, all right, we're out of the cup now. The only trophy opportunity we've got is Europa. If we were to go out of that, and then we have, like you said, a couple of months to the end of the season where we're just losing most of the games, how much do the fans, Ineos, and everyone take of that? How much can you take of that? Because as we have seen ourselves, it's very easy to, before the game, going into games, be like, we're going to lose there. I know we're going to lose. It's okay. But when you go through that 90 minutes or yesterday, 120 minutes plus of shit, you go, I don't like this.
Yeah,
I don't like this. It's tough. Very tough.
It's very, very tough. And we have to brace ourselves for it because we know what's on the way. We do. We know what's on the way. Big shout out to all of you watching today. It's been a big show. There's been a lot to get through, and we've managed to do that. Where are we at for likes? Where did we get to? 356. Let's get to 400 on the way out. Peeps. Let's do that. I'm sure we can. The super chats have all been read out. The member chats have all been read out. Big up to each and every one of you. Eminem being a member for 9 months. Shout out to you. Mac has been a member for 14 months. Kenny Fan TV, 17 months as well. So big up to all the members and big up to everybody who dropped in a super chat today. We've got a red carpet later on. So, of course, a lot to talk about, a lot fallout. I'm sure stuff will happen during the day, but a lot to continue to talk about as well. Smash a like on the way out. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. We're out of here. Take care. Peace.